Hi, I'm Ryan, and I'm here on Duke's West Campus, part of one of the leading universities in neuroscience.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and today we're going to be talking about neuroscience as it relates to race.
Hi, I'm Andrew. Our perception of race as a society is a very complicated issue, and the field of neuroscience is focused on discovering the way it works within our brains.
Although race is primarily a social construct, the way we group ourselves and other people has a huge effect on our lives.
There are many issues that originate from perceived racial differences, and unfortunately, these problems are inherent to American society. The reason researchers want to study race is so that they can gain an understanding of how a negative concept, like prejudice, operates within our minds.
The hope is that by understanding the foundations of racial issues, researchers can propose possible solutions. Studies often question the closely held biases of participants, aiming to break people's perceptions of race down to a basic level.
The neuroscience of race is a widely popular topic in the scientific community, and today we're going to highlight two key studies in this field and where they perhaps missed the mark when it comes to validity.
The first study comes from researchers at Northwestern University. Their area of interest was a scientific phenomenon known as the other race effect, which hypothesizes that our brains perceive the faces of our race differently from the faces of people from different races.
Researchers in this study found support that the other race effect is indeed real. A statistically significant difference in memory recall between same race and other race faces was discovered.
What scientists are still unclear of, however, is what exactly causes these differences. Some hypothesize that it is due to our lack of exposure to other race faces, while others attribute it to the in-group out-group effect, which means that members of a social out-group are generally perceived to have more in common with each other. This explains the age-old problematic belief that people from other races all look alike.
The IAT is another neuroscience study example. The IAT stands for the Implicit Associations Test. Essentially, the IAT measures the amount of implicit bias that a person has by measuring the negative and positive association a person has with different demographics.
When doing an IAT, you are asked to quickly sort words into categories that are on the left and right-hand side of the computer screen by pressing the E key if the word belongs to the category on the left, and the I key if the word belongs to the category on the right. For example, the IAT would say that one has an implicit preference for thin people relative to fat people if they are faster to categorize words when thin people and good share a response key and fat people and bad share a response key.
Although the IAT has been widely publicized, it is also quite controversial. Some scientists question the accuracy of the IAT. Meta-analysis of the IAT has revealed that IAT scores are not good predictors of ethnic or racial discrimination within lab settings. So in the real world, with so many uncontrollable variables, it is doubtful that the IAT is a useful predictor of behavior at all.
We also wanted to mention some of the main brain regions that scientists focus on when studying the neuroscience of race. The amygdala and the ACC are two examples. The amygdala is the emotional center of the brain, so neuroscientists use the amygdala to study the emotional connection to race. The ACC, also known as the anterior cingulate cortex, is involved in monitoring for response competition. In the context of race, the ACC is activated when a person feels conflicted about their desired social action and their implicit bias.
An important caveat to studying the neuroscience of race is that there is a widespread problem in the scientific community of using white-only participants for research. The aforementioned other race effect study, for example, drew its conclusions based off data from 18 Caucasian women.
When we only look at the results from one subset of the population, it limits our scope of understanding on key scientific concepts. We cannot draw accurate conclusions about all of humanity if we draw our findings from a sample unrepresentative of the diversity present in our society.
Race plays a large role in American society. Since our biases work within our own mind, neuroscience is driven to explore what causes our prejudice. However, neurological studies that approach race can sometimes fall victim to the same harmful effects that they are trying to understand. It is important to ensure that studies concerning race are not only limited to white participants, as they so often are.
Thanks for watching!